Hi, I hope you're doing well. And if you're not doing well, this video might bring a little bit of insight as to why you're not doing well or what is going on. And it might create a shift into feeling better, into how you approach your life. My name is Mai, and I'm on a mission to live my most fulfilling life and to live to my fullest potential. And everything that stands in the way from that has to go or has to transmute and be alchemized. And so I bumped into the subconscious mind on my journey, and I want to share my findings and how important it is to attend to what is actually living underneath the surface, underneath the things that you can actually see and approach with your conscious mind. So we're going to talk about what the subconscious mind is, how it works, and what to do about it. And so far, I haven't seen anything that really explains the subconscious mind well and how you can alter or manage what is going on deep in the background of your energetic field of like how you approach life, how you act, how you go about your day, like how you set your goals, your intentions, and how it can interfere with where you want to go, what you want to manifest, how you want to live your life, and how you want to feel. So let's dive in. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I bumped into this and a little bit about my journey. And I want you to listen a little bit deeper than what I share. This was, of course, my journey, and this is how I discovered it. But I want you to listen with the idea of like, how can I use this information into my own life? How does this apply to me? And how can I then now change and look for those things that are maybe blocking me or preventing me from moving forward? And I personally had a feeling I was really stuck. I felt like I couldn't break through the ceiling. And I've worked a lot with energy. I've did all the things like meditation, breath work, energy healing, um, going out in nature, going to the gym, eating healthy. I did all the things, and still I felt at this time completely blocked until I discovered that it was my subconscious mind that was causing this stuckness and this block. And so this is something that is not talked about much, I find. And so let's dive in. Let's go see what is going on underneath the surface. All right. So my journey started around the summer. I had a period where I was feeling amazing. Like life was truly magical. I just had to think something and it would happen, it would manifest. Like I felt completely in flow. It's as your whole body, my mind, my heart, my womb, like all of my chakras were just completely aligned. And everything was just happening in order that really felt truly fulfilling and truly natural and easy. And I felt super calm and peaceful and excited about life, joyful, until I entered a group breathwork session. And I went into that group breathwork session with the intention of maintaining this state. I really wanted to make sure I didn't lose this ability of being in flow and going about my day in this easy manner. And I came out of that breathwork session completely irritated, completely the opposite of what I felt. I felt absolutely not myself. I felt very tense. And at that time, I knew a couple things that were going on already, but I didn't know, like, I knew I had to look at some shadow patterns within my energetic field that could potentially block me from feeling this great and this good. And so I didn't know at that time exactly what those patterns were and like where I would have to look for them. I didn't get that clarity during breathwork. Normally, I come out of those breathwork sessions really like alive and ready and motivated and good, and I get some insight of like where I need to go and who I am and like my essence. But this time I completely like it was the opposite. I didn't feel good. It felt very like yucky, and I just couldn't move past it. Like, and I thought like maybe I just need to work through it. It's just a couple days of like resettling, but no, it didn't go away. So I ended up just opening myself up to the questions like, okay, so what is this? Like, what is this about? Like, what is it that I need to see? Um, and at some point, I think during an acupuncture session, I realized it had to do with my masculine. And I was really good at really embracing the feminine, the flow, channeling, energy work, all the invisible, visualizing, and all the things that has more of a feminine aspect. But I realized that I was blocking some of the masculine. And the what I discovered was that the blockage really came from a rejection of the masculine, feeling rejected through my own like father line, like ancestral line. Also feel rejecting the masculine myself. Anyway, it's like all of this is like another video. This is something that I want to share as well at some point. But I really felt that underneath the rejection was actually a fear. And that fear can either manifest in like a repressive nature, procrastination, not moving forward, not feeling motivated, feeling stuck, or it can manifest into reactive nature, like being very angry and manipulative and like going through life fighting your way through. And for me, it was really that repressive. Like I felt stuck. I didn't feel motivated. Nothing really was feeling good or joyful, and like I didn't see where I needed to go. So I'll talk more about this in another video. But I thought by going really deep into this and realizing that this issue is actually like a more a societal issue, not so much just me personally, and that it was affecting a lot of people. I thought like, okay, I got this. Like this is really the bottom of it. This is where I'm stuck. And so I worked a lot with healing that part of me. I I thought I really got to the bottom of this, and I still felt stuck. I still felt like nothing was moving forward. I didn't feel better. I didn't feel motivated. And again, same thing. I opened myself up. I was like, okay, let's see what's underneath this. Let's see what they're still blocking me. And so for the longest time, nothing was really coming to mind. Until then, I went to watch the movie Better Man, which is a good movie, by the way, very entertaining movie, and also deeper messages in it. And after watching the movie, I watched an interview with Gary Barlow, one of the members of Take That, and he was talking about the mind. He said he was doing all the things, same as me, like attending to the health, going to his health, going to the gym, doing meditation, like spending time in nature and stuff, and all the things. And still, he wasn't doing well. And he discovered that it was actually the mind that was blocking him. That if his mind was not in a good place, he would not feel good, and he would not feel empowered and ready to move forward and not feel good about himself. And that made me think, I was like, oh my God, this like looks so much like me. This is exactly where I'm stuck. And so I started looking into, okay, the mind, like what is it? How does it work? I'm a physiotherapist. I am a physiotherapist as a background. And so I've learned obviously the anatomy of the mind and how the mind works. And I realized I had some patterns that are sitting really deep underneath the superficial pattern. So it wasn't super obvious. So I was like, I thought of myself of being pretty optimistic and like my mind on a daily basis like looked pretty good. Like I didn't have like anything that was like concerning me or but underneath there a little bit deeper were like playing some patterns that were not healthy and that were blocking me from moving forward. And examples of those patterns were for what I discovered. I'll give you some examples. Was at the time of that breathwork session, I remembered I felt guilty for feeling so good. There were people there that were suffering and really had a hard time in life, and I came in there and I felt incredible. And I remember feeling really guilty for being in such a good state and feeling like amazing. And I actually also realized, along with that, was that I sometimes would feel annoyed when somebody would feel really good and express it fully. And that was really subtle because obviously I've suppressed it really well. I didn't want to feel like, as a good person, I didn't want to feel like I wanted somebody else to feel really good. Though, if you really listened and really looked deep enough, I could feel that there was some jealousy or some annoyance and when somebody would feel good. And that, of course, was like with that feeling, that idea that I was feeling good, um, and that I would feel guilty. I would feel like I can be too much for people. If people going through, there's so many people are suffering, I cannot feel this great. Like, look at the state of the world. Like, why, I cannot go through life like feeling incredible while you see the state of affairs and you see what's going on in the world. And so where that programming comes from exactly, I don't know. Like it probably some ancestral, like probably something in my childhood. I know we were always raised to grow up humble and and more quiet instead of like being fully out there. So yeah, so that doesn't really matter where it comes from. It's like recognizing these patterns. I also had a fear of my own power. That's something else I discovered during that breathwork session, that I only afterwards realized was like very subconscious. So I was, as I said, like during that time, I was doing really well. I just had to think it and it would manifest, it would happen, and I didn't even have to take any action. And I remember feeling at some point uncomfortable be having so much power and the idea of if I have this much power, somebody can use it to do evil with it. Somebody can use it to manifest things that we don't want as well. And so I started suppressing it. I started like blocking it and like I completely moved out of it. I wrote down some of them. You could, for example, have been, some people have like, they feel guilty about feeling joyful, or like they, maybe not guilty, but they might be expecting a disappointment. If I feel so good, it might fall apart at some point and then I would get crushed or it would feel so hurtful. Like I don't want to feel good because if I feel good, then something might happen that crushes me. Another example is uh, somebody I did a healing session with had a pattern of victimhood. And she had a pattern of like, if I am the victim, then somebody will come to save me. Somebody will come help me. So she had a pattern of like playing the victim, feeling sad, feeling things are not going the way they want. She wants it to, feeling not good enough, having a lot of like things happening in her life that made her feel like a victim. And so that would mean that somebody would come and and help her and support her, and like the feeling of wanting to be held and like seen and encouraged. Um, so yeah, that was really interesting. So there are these subconscious patterns that play like deep in the background that we're not fully aware of. Like on the surface, it all looked fine, but then they are like very deeply ingrained. And they are so ingrained because we grow up with it. We grow up, it's in our system. Like we never known something else. And so these subconscious patterns form by repetition. So the more the more this happens, the more a same event or same thing happens, like the stronger your neural pathways become and the more automatic they become. It's like playing the piano. If you learn how to play the piano for the first time, you have to really think about it and it goes really slow. But then once you're like better and more advanced, then you don't even have to think about where the keys are and what to do. And then, yeah, it becomes this like your brain neurons become so thick. And so, like, the communication between the brain and the muscles are just automatic. And so these subconscious patterns, they become so ingrained and so thick that they happen automatically, and they just something happens and then your brain automatically goes there without even thinking. So that's why they're subconscious. That's why they're not when you're not aware of them. Like it's almost like breathing, or like when you're driving to a destination you've driven before, or like many times, like you do that without even thinking. And so that's why they're subconscious. That's why they're not in your conscious. You're not aware of them because the neural pathways have become so strong that you automatically go there. And so that was the same for me about feeling good. I didn't know, I wasn't aware that I had a pattern of feeling good and feeling guilty about it until I really stopped and became aware of it. And so, yeah, that's the first thing you want to do. You want to become aware of the patterns. And how do you become aware of the patterns is you become an observer of your own actions and your own triggers. So when you have triggers, for example, when you feel triggered by something, there is something there that is doesn't feel aligned. There is something there that is your nervous system goes into this automatic state of like fight or flight or like anger or whatever it is. And in if you start watching and if you start observing, you will see that they always have the same underlying patterns will keep coming up. Maybe it's a feeling of rejection, maybe it's a feeling of like not feeling good enough, right? I had a I had a client before and she was like more criticized growing up than she was encouraged, and like she was told that she was great and whatever she did was amazing and like encouraged. And so her brain wires were just like automatically wired for criticizing herself now. And for like when she was criticized by others, she always interpreted this as like, oh, I'm not worthy, like this is not good. Because the amount of volume of being criticized is higher than the amount of volume of being encouraged and like feeling seen, then yeah, you can see how that pattern becomes stronger. And so in your energetic field then, if you might want something, you might want to manifest more money or something, promotion or something in your business or with your family, like travels. And you might say like, okay, I have everything. Like, so I have my desire. I want this. I I really feel like this is meant for me. Like, so it's your soul telling you like, okay, this is part of who I am or what I need at this point and what I'm going to do. But if there is in your energetic field like subconscious pattern in your mind that says like, oh, I don't deserve this, or no, this is not for you, or you you're not good enough to do this, or if you do this and something something will happen to you. This could play a quite a big part in your manifestation and into moving forward. And this was the reason why I wasn't feeling well. I was feeling stuck. I didn't feel motivated because like I started to have doubt and like uncertainty, and I didn't feel there was anything that was really giving me joy because I had the subconscious pattern of like feeling good and I feel guilty about it. So I was unconsciously blocking my feeling good and like my really feeling aligned and like taking action towards that. And so yeah, see if you can become aware of the patterns you have within your life, and if there's anything that really stands out. You probably have multiple. So, but even if you just discover one, you can start working with that and it will open the door to like seeing more of them. And yeah, becoming aware of your triggers is one. Another one is also becoming really intentional with how you want to live your life. So my intention is really to live a most fulfilling life and to live to my uttermost like potential. So anything that is not aligned with that, there is something that is blocking that or that is preventing me from doing so. So there is a pattern there, or there is something. It's not always a subconscious pattern. It could be like some trauma or like some childhood healing, or but see if there is any, like you can check to see if there is any subconscious pattern. But I bet if you actually look energetically, if you look at all your manifestations that are not coming through, that the subconscious mind actually has way more to do with it than we realize. And I was working with energy, like I got really good at directing the energy and moving it where I wanted to go. But I still was not able to move through this part until I discovered that the subconscious mind was holding me back. So I feel like we cannot forget that that this is a big part of who we are. It's like part of our energetic field. And that energetic field is that you exude is also what you attract. So if you're looking through the eyes of your subconscious patterns, like you would not be able to attract all the good things that are meant for you, right? So how do we change them then? So once you discover your pattern, you can say like every time you see the pattern showing up, you become aware of it and you can stop it. You can say like, okay, this no longer counts. This no longer works for me. I want to feel this way. I want to feel great. I want to feel happy. I want to feel joyful. I want to feel confident. I want to feel amazing. I don't want to feel like I'm a victim. I don't want to feel guilty. I don't want to feel shame. Like you go into where you want to go. So you stop it in its tracks and you just say like, okay, I this no longer works for me. I know this was a pattern. It's super ingrained in me. So like to start something new, it's not easy. Like it's like, yeah, learning how to play the piano or riding the bike or skiing. Like it's hard in the beginning. It really has, you have to do some effort. You have to do more repetition to create those new neural pathways and to make them become stronger until the old ones die off. This is neuroplasticity, so your brain can actually change and morph into something new. So you let the old ones, the old patterns die off, and you let the new ones, like you grow those ones, you nurture those ones, you like really put effort into making these stronger. And so I've been doing it only for 2 weeks right now, and it's been incredible how much change and like how quickly I see where I'm going with my thoughts or with my actions, and I'm able to divert them and like transmute them and and move into the new pattern. Um, so that takes time. Um, this is something that is like it needs your attention. It takes time, and it also it there you need to want to change. A lot of people find it more comfortable to stay stuck in their old, and that was part of me as well. I was more comfortable staying stuck in the old because if I would change those patterns, I would feel good and I would feel guilty about it. Or I was also a little bit fearful of like my powers. I was also a little bit fearful of like the responsibilities that would come if I would fully step out and do the things that I want to do, then I had to take the action towards it. So there was a little bit of resistance there. And your mind can, in the beginning, also like just because the brain wires are so thick and so fast, it can say like, okay, I don't want to go there. This is not for me. So you have to move a little bit through like this muddy period where you have to really become strong-willed and disciplined about like changing it. But your mind can change. It's like backed up by research, and like you can see it in people who, for example, had to amputate their right hand if they were right-handed, and now they started learning to do everything with their left hand. And so your brain can easily change. Easily, it takes some time, but it can change and it can learn and it constantly grows. So yeah, so I think that's mostly what I wanted to say. So hold an intention to where you want to go, like how you want to feel, and see what is not aligned with that. Um, Trying to think if I'm forgetting something. I think this is mostly it. If you have any questions, let me know. If this feels good to you or like you're unsure about like how to do this or how this applies in your own life, you can book a healing session with me. They're currently 40% off until if you book before March 3rd. And that's what we would do in our healing session. We would go discover what is actually blocking you, something that you don't see, but I can pick up on it because I can read the energy that you hold. Actually, I did an energy healing session yesterday, and this person had the ability to change her her nervous system and her brain pathways right away. Like it was really interesting. She has the gift of like being able to just shift almost into a different personality as she wants to. And that was something she didn't know. That was a gift that was not visible to her. And so she now has to practice doing this. But this is something. Whereas as a physiotherapist, I've always learned like, okay, change takes time. Your neural pathways like need to grow, they need to adjust. It costs effort. But she had the ability of like changing it right away and like change from one day you would be poor and the next day you're like this rich person, and she could change her nervous system, her brain to like really align with what she wanted. And that was new to me. I've never seen this in anyone before. And so, yeah, it was really cool to see like your potential and your abilities are like unlimited. It's like this infinite well. Um, and yeah, everybody probably has this ability, whether you can access it or not. It depends on where you're at in your journey. But that made me think of, oh, now I want to learn more about like how to access it and like how can I now open that door for me as well. And yeah, that's super interesting. So like things like that come up in the healing session. So if you're interested, you can book that there below. I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, let me know. And I wish you a great journey and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.